Hey guys, Boilon here. Today we're going to be doing some red star pulls for Evil Strange. I'm supposed to be here in the corner like you would normally see me, but for some reason I'm not, because I can't seem to get my webcam to work. If anyone knows how and why webcams flicker on a new computer, then let me know in the comments down below, and maybe you can come help me with Boilon tech support. That would be awesome, because in 20 minutes on live stream I did not manage to fix that. So we have some Evil Strange orbs to pull today. I have 49 regulars, but I do have a lot of elites. So we're going to do that as well here today. And then actually, you know what? Because I actually was going to be doing other stuff here as well, I want to talk about the winners and losers of the Darkhold team, because I have this all ready to go, despite what my stream would probably tell you, that I spent the last half hour fucking around with. Oh, I can't swear on YouTube. Oh, well, whatever. I screwed this up anyways. Yeah, we're going to talk about Darkhold and their character stats. So we're going to do that after the Red Star pulls, because we're not going to be actually unlocking Evil Strange here today, because A, I have no cores left because I opened Morbius, so I can't really do that. And he's a campaign event character, so probably I want to save my money anyways, since we will likely get 4+ stars on him. So, without further ado, let's see if I can run my stuff. I guess that worked, I think. So my intro scenes still work. That's good news. Okay, so we have... we're not totally busted here on the Boilon channel right now with my new computer. And we have a lot of Elite 4s. We have like 11 Elite 4s. So we're gonna pull some of these and hope for some good luck. I don't think I'm gonna get any... You know, frankly, I don't even think I'm gonna get a 5 red. Even I've had some really shitty, terrible luck with campaign event characters, so that's probably not going to happen, but we're going to pull these anyways, see what we get, and if we're lucky, maybe we'll get some upgrades for some other characters, even though most of my roster is 4 red at this point. Let's do it. You know, this is probably the most effed up video I've done in a while, but hey, let's on with the show. We got a 5 Polaris. That's an upgrade, but I barely use her, so that's crap. Just like the costume. No, actually, I really like her costume, but I don't really use Polaris much. Let's keep going. Oh, hey, we got a 4. I actually did pull a 2, like, on my phone before bed, just because I wanted to even out my Elite 4 creds, but hey, looks like we got a 4. You know, to be... I almost want to pull a 5 just for shits and giggles. But I only have 3 of them, and I kind of... Maybe I should have started with the 5, because I seem like I went in the wrong order here. I want to save most of these for Morgan, but you know, I have a 6 as well. I think, you know, frankly, I'm gonna pull all this shit for Morgan. 7, 6. You know, now that they removed the minions from it, that's a really good thing, by the way. So let's... You know, I'm gonna get like a 7 red on him. And then my camera is going to be busted, and then you won't be able to see my face. You know what? So let's just... Okay, just for this. Just in case I get a 6 or a 7, then it goes off again. People watching this on YouTube are probably wondering what the hell is going on. I spent like 20 or 30 minutes trying to fix my camera, and you might see some flickering. That's interesting. Too bad my star levels on Dr. Voodoo are absolutely horrific. I haven't pulled a single center drop on Dr. Voodoo. That's actually a good pull, but I got really fucked on the campaign so far. I'm not even sure I'm gonna get a 4. That's how terrible things are with my Dr. Voodoo right now. I think I might actually just hold it there. I thought that maybe I would have done a little bit more, but no. So, what we're going to talk about, though, is because we're not actually... Well, you know what? Oh, that's the... See, this is the worst video ever. That was me trying to fix my, my fucking camera earlier. Oh, dear lord. Okay, let's talk about Doctor Strange Heartless, though. Because he is a good character. And then I want to show the stats for the team as a whole. The Darkhold stats actually have some really good numbers in terms of their stats. I've crunched it out on a spreadsheet already, believe it or not, and I want to talk about that after. But oh, you can see the flickering already. So I got a 4 red on Strange. We know that he's a campaign event character using the Unyielding trait. We'll talk about that later, probably in a week and a half when we get closer to the actual campaign event. See, I'm starting to flicker, and so now I'm going to pull myself back off of webcam. So that's unfortunate for all of you guys who want to see me and talk about this. But you know, he has a really, really good kit. I did a video on Evil Strange, and actually funny because they call him Strange Supreme here. You maybe can't see it, but here on the top, that's the link for it. And but Evil Strange is really good. I did a video on him, and basically I think he's a very great standalone character. You know, his traits. The weird thing is we don't know what his assist info is. And that's really unfortunate. So, I don't know in terms of his basic. I don't know if you want to use him as a striker, but we don't really know what that is, and that's a little bit unfortunate. But, you know, he has some really good tags. You know, he's got Cosmic Tag. Everyone's a fucking mystic on this team. But, he is probably a good standalone Cosmic character. Both, in his team, but also outside of the team, I would say in Dark Dimension Cosmic, I think he's a very good character. Because his basic is some of the strongest I've ever seen. And I want to zoom in a little bit on this one. So, attack primary target and adjacent targets for 280% piercing, plus flip 2 positive effects to negative effects on the basic. Really powerful, and it can't be blocked. So you're hitting multiple targets. If this was Dark Dimension, you could be hypothetically hitting like 5 characters with this. Like, it's a lot, and you're flipping on a basic, and you don't need anyone else to do that. It's a super strong attack. Like, I really like his kit, and you don't really need anyone else to use it either. Copy and clear 2 positive effects, excluding taunt, 400% damage and apply slope, reduce turn bar, and then he clears all that, gets tons of shit ton of focus for this attack. His AoE on his alt, this has the potential to do a crap ton of damage, 300% damage plus 50% per positive and negative effect on self and primary target. So if I'm reading that, and I talked about this in a blog post before, but if it's calculating the raw amounts of positive and negatives on both targets, that could be like an AoE for 800% damage. If there's 5 positive and negatives across each character, that's an extra 500% damage. So, an 800% AoE could be quite substantial. And even then, even just getting 5 or 600% or something would be pretty crazy. And his passive is pretty good for his survivability. So if he's charged, he heals himself, he loses charge. But then he'll also barrier himself as well, I think, as long as he's charged. Now, this one's a bit up in the air, because at the end of any Darkhold ally turn, barrier that character. Does this count himself? I don't know. We talked about this. They've been very inconsistent when it comes to these kind of passives. Squirrel Girl has something similar where it says Young Avengers ally, and so that's a bit of a problem here. But if charged instead barrier, so we know for a fact that if he's charged, he will get the barrier. What I don't know is will he get the barrier otherwise. And you know what? Maybe I should have watched a content creator who actually paid for this character to see whether or not that works, or if they've actually figured out if that works or not. But you know me, my name's Boilon. I barely spend, so sorry guys, I'm not going to be able to show you that part. And then on enemy death, gain offense up, if and so there's a lot of shit going on here. Huge crit. What kind of ISO is recommended? Well, we know that for Darkhold as a team, that you probably want at least somebody as a striker. Now, is Strange Heartless the striker? I don't know. I think that he could actually make for a good raider because he's already getting a lot of crit. So this plus the 10% base crit, that makes 60%. But you could make this almost 100% with Raider ISO 3. I believe that's an extra 25 to 30% crit, and then the additional crit damage as well. So he's going to do some huge numbers if you gave him a Raider. But if you want something a little bit more consistent, you could give him a skirmisher, or sorry, a striker as well. I don't think he actually needs a skirmisher, despite the video for Strange Supreme, Evil Strange, whatever we're calling him, suggested that he actually needed a skirmisher. I don't think he does, because we'll take a look at his the stat numbers for this team, and I don't think it's that bad for Strange. In terms of what you need for his gear, though, it's actually pretty good. You only need 3 sets, 3 pieces of minis here for Gear 16, and I think he's definitely one of the top characters that I'm considering for that. And so I just want to reiterate that Strange Heartless is going to be a heroic difficulty campaign. Now, this was in the patch notes as well, and in the data mines as well, and this is going to be in just under 2 weeks time now. And as far as math for that video, That's going to be coming at a separate time because we're going to be getting teal gear and stuff in this campaign, and so I can't use my old spreadsheets to calculate this necessarily in case they change things around. So secondly, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the stats for the team because I think that's really important. And so I have a spreadsheet here that I'm going to bring up in a second here on the other screen. Oh, that's Dark Hunters. Where is my... Darkhold. No, I just did it. Darkhold stats. Okay, sorry guys. New computer problems. And yeah, I don't have Microsoft 365 anymore, so this is a little bit of a problem. So here we are. Now, ignore the stuff at the bottom because I didn't finish this. This is to do with Madeline Pryor and the Marauders, but what we're most important about is this stuff above here, is that I've calculated basically the ranks for all of the characters here, and clearly I did not actually finish, I did more or less. So what you want to kind of look at is the green. If it's green, that's good, you know, and so let's start with Morgan Le Fay. So this is all to do with, by the way, I didn't do like 7 yellow, 7 red stats, which is often you can find on msf.gg. I did this with regards to 5 yellow, 5 red, level 85, gear 15, Stark 25%, and blue ISO level 3. And this is without Striker, because Striker actually really elevates the damage stat. So for that reason, I just I did like Raider, where it's just a base value, so it didn't really matter too much. And the reason why I chose 5 yellow, 5 red is I think for the newer characters, while this is still kind of high, I think 5 yellow, 5 red is a place where a lot of people try to get to. Whether or not you do end up getting a 5 yellow, 5 red Morgan, Evil Stranger, Agatha, or Wong, frankly, all of these. I mean, but it's a little bit more accurate than, say, a 7 yellow, 7 red that you can max out, because that's probably not going to happen unless you have Scarlet Witch. And some of her stats are kind of interesting as well. But let's start with Morgan Le Fay. So she actually has the 2nd highest health stat in the game. And I believe the only one above her was Dormammu. You can check this out on the stat tables on msf.gg, which is where I ripped a lot of this from. And it's pretty impressive. You know, Morgan has some pretty good rank stats numbers, so that's pretty good as well. Her damage, that should have been a green. That's why I have the green. Anything under 10, rank 10 should have, not a blue, a green background here. Already fumbling on my first video with my new PC here. But her stat values are very good in the damage category as well. Now, obviously, keep in mind this entire team are Mystics, so I wouldn't think that in certain areas that they have the highest armor stat, for example, because that they have a lot of barrier. This Darkhold team is known very much for their barrier, so don't expect their armor stats to be stellar. However, you can probably see right now by looking at the armor that there's one real standout that actually kind of surprised me because I didn't think this was going to be the case. Now, Morgan Le Fay is kind of, you know, it's okay. Rank number 32 for armor, her stats there. Focus, rank 11. That's pretty good. I'm going to give her one of these greens as well, actually. So, across the board, Morgan actually has some really, really good stat numbers in terms of the rank out of all the characters in the game. So, rank 11 in focus, rank 2 in resistance, rank 2 in health, rank 6 in damage. Her stats are pretty crazy. Not necessarily Dormammu crazy, but still crazy nonetheless. And it's really good. And she's unlockable at a 3-star. Cue in the, you know, the issues there about 3-star and Boilon and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But let's move on from that. Her speed actually isn't too bad as well. She's the fastest member of the Darkhold team as well at 120. The rank you can see here, 28 to 42. That's because there's like 14 characters with 120 speed, so it is what it is there. Let's center this number a little bit because I'm a bit OCD that way. And so let's talk about Evil Strange. So his stats, you know, you would expect the rest of them not to be as very good in health. It's a little bit surprising to me personally that Morgan Le Fay has as high of a health stat compared to everyone else. Evil Strange is, I would say this is kind of in the middle. It's not quite average because there's like 190 characters or something. But as far as newer character goes, this is a little, you know, he is a blaster though, so don't expect it to be anything too crazy. His damage stat is pretty respectable, so I give this a light green. I believe I have this shade here for anything that's like under 30. So this is pretty good here too. He is obviously, surprisingly, not the 2nd strongest after Morgan Le Fay. It's actually Scarlet Witch, but we're going to get to that later. So Evil Strange, his armor rank is 71. Again, he's a blaster, so you probably shouldn't expect too much here. So this is pretty average, and normally when an average color is like yellow. So we're going to give it to that. His focus, though, is 53. So this is why I wanted to talk about this one a little bit. I'm also going to give it like an average color here. And so 53, he does have some debuffs, right? So if we want to jump back to his kit here with his abilities, and this gets a little bit important, because if you can't do it, but he does get 500% extra focus on his special. And then his ultimate is just damage. So actually, I don't think he actually needs the Skirmisher ISO for this reason, because even though he's only rank 53, I think the extra 500% focus, I think more than enough should make up for the fact that, you know, he is where he is in there. If you can't land it, frankly, with 500% focus and being where he is in focus stat, I don't know what's going on. Who are you fighting? Are you fighting Heroes for Hire on Ward Defense? Like, I don't know. But otherwise, it should land on regular people. So that's probably why I'm going to be giving Strange the Raider ISO, because I really want to maximize that damage potential for him. His resistance stat is also pretty good. It is in the 17, so that's pretty good. We're going to give him the light green color, or the other green color, but it's still very respectable. Number 17 in resistance. Pretty good stat for a blaster. I believe in the blog post it actually mentioned that he had high resistance anyways. For a blaster, this is pretty good despite his armor rating of 71. But yeah, speed of 115. This is kind of puts him in the average range. His shares with 7 other characters, rank 58 to 65. Agatha, let's talk about her. So her health is actually pretty low, and I'm actually disappointed that her health stat is lower than Scarlet Witch. So she ranks at 73 for her health stat. That's pretty low. So what that tells me is that you're really gonna... I know there's a max health bump from, I think it's Morgan, right? You know, and I know you can't see my face because I'm like having a questioning face. I'm pretty sure it comes from Morgan. Morgan's passive that gives the team hit points or something like that, and that's why Morgan's health is so high. But yeah, Agatha's gonna need to get that because her health is pretty low, and that means that you're kind of gonna want to have good red stars on her as well. Try to get as many yellow stars as you can on Agatha because, you know, she is a good character, but her survivability might be into question a little bit here, despite all the barrier that the team receives. So keep that in mind there. Her damage stat is still pretty respectable here at a 28, which is good, and her armor rank is also pretty respectable for a Mystic character in 35. Now, what's interesting here, of course, I did this beforehand, her focus stat is number 1. Agatha has the highest focus stat in the game, and this is really good because Agatha has a lot of debuffs. If I remember, her kit was really effing busted. Her passive was effing busted, which applies a lot of negative stats effects. So it's a good thing that she should be able to land all of this stuff no problem because she's going to need it. Her resistance stat also pretty respectable here as number 9, which surprisingly, given the fact that they didn't really call that out, is better than Evil Strange's that actually did say that he had a high resistance, but Agatha has a higher one at rank number 9. Speed is just behind Evil Strange here, pretty average compared to some of the other characters. Now, Wong. Now, his health is pretty high here, but he is the protector of the team, right? And so that's good for him. It's a number 10. That's pretty good. It's respectable. His damage, 23, also somewhat respectable as well, I would say here, given that he is a protector. Armor. Wong has the second highest armor stat in the game. I forget who was number 1, but this was a bit of a surprise because when I saw Wong's kit, I was like, wow, Wong sucks. That's what I kind of thought, to be honest. But yeah, maybe he's not going to be as bad as we think he is. However, where Wong's going to fall here is his focus stat. It's not good. It's 106, and that's pretty bad, actually. If you're worse than like 80, 90, that's not a very good place to be, frankly. So his focus, I believe he does have debuffs in his kit as well. And so I think that you might actually need to run Wong as a skirmisher because I'm concerned that he's not going to be able to land. I believe he has some like flipping or some clearing or some negative stats effects as well. I haven't memorized all the Darkhold's kits on hand, but I know he's got something that you need focus for. And so for that reason, I think when Wong does come out, you're probably going to want to have a skirmisher because if you can't do that, then you might be in trouble. But you know, that's just what I think off the top of my head. His resistance stat is actually pretty decent as well, so we're gonna give him this green, number 13 in the game, so that's pretty good. Slow ass speed, but that doesn't really matter because he's supposed to tank for us, right? So most tanks usually do have a low speed at 98. It's less than 100, so that's pretty low. 150 to 153rd in the game here. That's what you can see here off to the corner. Scarlet Witch. Now this is a little bit interesting thing, and I want to make a little specific call out to Scarlet Witch because she doesn't get her stat increases until gear tier 14. Now, some of you guys may remember this from Web Warriors, where Web Warriors, specifically Miles and OG Spider-Man, did not actually receive their stats until they hit Gear Tier 14. Seems like Scarlet Witch is also running the same way. Now, I don't know if this happened for Dark Hunters, for like Ghost Rider and Elsa, but Scarlet Witch is definitely being impacted by this, which is a bit of an issue. So her health at like Gear Tier 13 is significantly lower than this, than what you're seeing here, you know? So you do need to take her to Gear Tier 14 to see some of these stat increases, which is really unfortunate because a lot of people aren't going to want to Gear Tier 14 Scarlet Witch. I just think that's how it is. She's very expensive on the minis, and I don't think that you're going to want to do that. But if you do happen to take her to 14+, her health is actually not too terrible. I guess it's been improved since the rework. Her damage stat, 14th in the game, if you are willing to do that as well. It's higher than Evil Strange. That's really shocking to me. And because most of her stuff does not actually include damage. The only thing in her kit that does damage is her basic and a little bit on her alt. I believe it has piercing now. But other than that, I wouldn't really rely on Scarlet Witch to be your heavy hitter damage. But hey, apparently she's got the 14th highest damage stat in the game. That's super shocking. Now, she was given a little bit of armor, but really it didn't really mean much because it gives her a rank of 117 in the game, which is still pretty poor. So hope that she has a lot of barrier to make up for that. Her focus stat actually is pretty good, all things considered. She does need to land a little bit stuff. I'm not sure. If you guys know, does Scarlet Witch's ultimate, the thing that prolongs the negative status effects, can that be resisted? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm an idiot and I don't remember if it can be resisted. I thought it could, but if it's not, I'd also like to know that, because I haven't used her a ton, so it's been a while since I've done that. Resistance is not terrible. It doesn't really matter too much, though. It's the worst of all the Darkhold characters. But you can see anyone with a whole list of green is good, right? So some of the best winners of this patch, in my opinion, is obviously going to be Morgan Le Fay. No questions asked, and that's pretty obvious. She's a legendary character, so it is what it is. After that, I actually think Wong is doing better than I initially anticipated. His stat numbers are across the board, with the exception of focus, is pretty good. And then next after that for me would probably be, well, apparently Agatha has more green. She's got like 4 green things, whereas Strange only has 3. That being said, I think as far as kits go, like I really want to have high yellows and high reds for Evil Strange. You've seen my polls. It is what it is. We'll see if I get lucky though in the campaign itself. And, you know, maybe if I get a 5 yellow by the end of it, who knows? Maybe I'll upgrade him to 5 red if I'm able to as well. Agatha though, these are my top 2 favorites. Despite the stats for Wong, I think Evil Strange and Agatha are the 2 characters that you're probably going to want to focus on the most outside of Morgan as far as your, your priorities go for this team. I know, we barely have any of the team really other than Evil Strange. I think, though, when we get the full 5, you're going to want to focus on Morgan first, probably Evil Strange second, and then Agatha, honestly, in this order. And maybe that's why I put them down this way, because I think that's going to be the importance in terms of the team overall. And I think Evil Strange and Agatha are going to have some wider standalone benefits as well. But, we'll have to see more as the team goes on, and of course, that's going to be the end of this video. But I hope this was insightful in terms of where their ranks lie, in terms of their stats, because it kind of gives you an idea of, where this is going to go, and sort of where you want to put your priorities for gear, red stars, levels, all that kind of thing. So that's the end of this video, which, doesn't, here, I'm going to put, there I am, here I am. I'm going to come back on just enough to say bye to you guys, because this was a bit of a tech disaster, but I'm going to roll with it anyways. So that's it for the end of this video. That's going to go up on YouTube, and a lot of people are going to be, where the hell is Boilon? I'm going to try and get my, whatever's going on in my webcam, I'm going to try to get that fixed for, ASAP. But until then, there you go. You saw another flash. Until next time, guys, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.